Laser sights are an essential firearms training tool, clearly correcting and improving the two most important shooting fundamentals, aiming and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
#1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
All right, we're going to keep doing this until somebody makes us quit. I'm Tom Gresham. It's Gun Talk. We're at the Scattergun Lodge in South Dakota. We are live from South Dakota today, having a bunch of fun with some of our friends, and just pulled in one of my good friends for a long time. Jim Wilson has joined us again. Sheriff Jim Wilson. How long were you sheriff, Jim?
Well, I was sheriff for 2 terms, 8 years, but I was a Texas peace officer for right at 30 years.
30 years. Oh, man. Okay. So you've been law enforcement for a good chunk of your life.
That's right.
What made you decide to get into law enforcement in the first place?
You know, probably just a misspent youth, I suppose. But
you want to be on the other side of it?
Yeah. I just nothing appealed to me about going to jail, so I thought I would try the other side.
You know, we laugh, but there have been a lot of cops through the years who were pretty much hooligans growing up and then became law enforcement. And I think it probably helps in terms of understanding who you're dealing with.
Well, it does, and you know, if you're a police officer of any kind, you're not in the law business; you're in the people business. Mm-hmm. And the easier you can figure out how to deal with people and get along with people and get what you want out of people, the better everything is.
Yeah, and the preferred method is to do it by talking with them.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I think some of the young officers, it takes them a while to figure that out.
That's right.
You know,
what I used to tell them is Muhammad Ali couldn't fight every night. So you learn to talk after a while.
You learn to talk, exactly. You said you were, a strapping 137 pounds?
I was.
And you got in under the wire because a doctor fudged the form for you?
That's right.
You had to be 140 pounds.
That's right. I was 3 pounds shy, and the doctor felt sorry for me, so
there you go. The rest is history.
I couldn't, I had to learn to fight. I could run pretty well, but I just didn't know how to fight real well.
Now, were you always a shooter or gun guy?
Oh, sure. 11 years old, got my first guns, and 22 for my birthday, and a 20-gauge single shot for Christmas. And,
right.
I've been shooting ever since.
I'll be darned. Well, now, you're a West Texas guy.
Sure.
What, and I know you like 1911s. Did you carry a 1911 when you were, working? Well, you probably started with revolvers.
Yes, we had to. We had to buy our own. The department I worked for, we had to buy our own guns. They had to be revolvers, either Smith & Wesson or Colt. Mm-hmm. I can remember the first, the Ruger made a great revolver, and but the first time somebody showed up with it, isn't that made in Germany?
Ruger.
We had to explain. But no, when about 1972, I was authorized to carry an auto loader, and I've carried a 1911 ever since.
You have been privileged enough to be not just but be good friends with some of the best shooters out there. And I'm thinking of people like Bill Jordan.
Yes.
But just in Texas Rangers and Border Patrol and people who you may not even know their names, but they were the real deal.
Sure.
Try, if you would, just because I knew Bill and you knew Bill well, try to explain to people who Bill Jordan was and what was so special about him.
Well, 2 things. Bill was he was a good Southern boy, raised around Shreveport, Louisiana, mm-hmm. and people talked about his Texas drawl, and that really get him upset.
Yeah. He said, I'm from Louisiana.
He'd explain to you.
That's right. He was a pretty tall drink of water.
He was, and Bill had magnificent natural reflexes, and he took those and built on those mm-hmm. with a great shooting exhibition, double-action revolver, while he was in the Border Patrol.
Right.
And then when he retired from the Border Patrol, he went in with the NRA, and they were smart enough to continue him doing.
I mean, he toured the country doing these exhibitions. And we're talking about things that even today, with the likes of Jerry Mitchell and all, you still wonder. And I mean, what was Bill, 6'6", maybe?
At least.
He's at least 6'6".
Hand as big as a dinner plate.
Yeah. I mean, huge guy. And even, it's funny, he even said even his mother had speed like he had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that's where he got it.
Yeah.
He inherited it from his mother.
And
he realized that and once he recognized it, then he was smart enough to build on it.
Right.
But Bill was, he was the opposite of what people expect a typical gunfighter. Bill didn't go around with a steely-eyed look and a frown on his face. He was the life of the party, and if there wasn't a party, he'd start one.
Mm-hmm.
And around our kind of people, he was just fine. Now, around the bad guys, he could take care of business, as he did on numerous occasions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, he was just the kind of person that early on that I really admired and I looked up to, and I tried to be like those people. As a young cop, I looked at the older guys, the Rangers
mm-hmm.
and the Border Patrol, like Bill and Bill Toney and some of those guys, and I just thought, those guys are successful, and I'm going to watch them, and I'm going to try to learn from them.
Yep.
And I, frankly, I think that's one of the reasons I'm sitting here today talking to you is because I learned some of those lessons, and they got me through some tough spots.
All right, we got people calling in. We're going to try to handle a few of these. Line 2 is Harold out of Avery, Texas. I bet Jim knows where Avery, Texas is.
I sure do.
Hey, Harold, how you doing?
Just fine, just fine. I appreciate you taking my call, sir.
You bet.
And my question is, I have a Ruger P89, and she had a real heavy trigger pull. Is there any way that I could take it to a gun shop and have that lessened up or loosened up some or readjusted?
I sure think a professional gunsmith could help you with that, and I believe they would.
Yeah, I would take it to a gunsmith and just make sure that it's a gunsmith who's not trying to learn how to do this on your pistol.
Exactly.
You want somebody who knows what the model is and doesn't have to look it up. But a good gunsmith, probably should be able to help you out with that. I think that's good. And that's a good, solid, reliable chunk of metal pistol.
Absolutely.
Right there.
It's a good gun.
Yeah, it really is. Thanks, Harold. Appreciate that. Let's see. Line 1, John's out of West Leechburg, Pennsylvania. Hey, John, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. How about you?
Oh, the doctors tell me I'm getting better, so I got to believe them.
There you go. What do you think about this election?
Well, I'll tell you. I live here in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania hasn't voted for a Republican since Ronald Reagan. And you got to picture Pennsylvania, the counties, as a T. And everywhere in that T has always voted Republican. Outside the T, you have Allegheny County, which is Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And on the other end of the state, outside the T, you have Philadelphia.
Right.
And they have always voted heavy for a Democrat. As a matter of fact, in Pittsburgh, you're born a Democrat.
Okay.
So the people within the T who have voted Republican, it's always been a very light voter turnout. Now, you can't travel anywhere within that T now and see Trump signs in everyone's yard. You're not going to find a Hillary sign anywhere. If it is, it's rare within that T. And the news media have always banked on the light turnout in the T, and then the heavy turnout in Allegheny, in Pittsburgh, and Philly.
Okay.
Now, I have a good friend of mine who has, he's been a lifelong Democrat. He's Union, IBEW. And this year, he's one of the 50,000 people outside of that T that switched from Democrat to Republican because he wanted to get Trump into office.
Man,
so
I'm
Trump
listening
isn't going
to
to
you.
poll Pittsburgh, but if he gets so much as 30% of the vote,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is going to go Trump just because of an exceptionally heavy turnout this year in that T, which the news medias aren't looking at.
Well, even if they knew it, they wouldn't report it. They're actually reporting all the polls that are showing Hillary ahead and ignoring the polls that are showing it's tied or Trump's ahead. So they're trying to cook the books, of course, and we know that that's going on. John, thank you so much. That is an interesting call. And Jim, I mean, from his lips to God's ears, one would hope.
One would hope, absolutely.
Exactly. Tell you what, quick break here. We're talking with Sheriff Jim Wilson. If you got a question or comment, if you are a fan of his writing, or maybe even his music, you might want to give us a call, 866-TALK-GUN.
A decade since it was first introduced, the Taurus Judge still rules. This isn't just any personal defense revolver. This is an everyday gun. With its decisive stopping power, it's the original 5-shot game changer. Today it's available in more than a dozen models and capable of chambering both 45 Colt and 410 shot shell. You be the judge. Taurus Judge, what legends are made of. Visit TaurusUSA.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free, yes, a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
Do you know SID? If you want a gun silencer, SID is your champion. SID is a special kiosk powered by Silencer Shop that has shipped to more than 300 gun stores nationwide, where you and all of your trustees can register, get fingerprinted, and complete the documents necessary to own a silencer in your gun trust. Easy, ATF compliant, and you only need to visit SID once. SID, Secure Identity Documentation. Learn more at silencershop.com. Making the world a quieter place.
As we celebrate 2 centuries in Remington country, it's humbling to think about all the ground we've covered. Since the infancy of our nation, we've journeyed with you every step of the way, helping shape the course of American history. Remington country is bigger than a place, and for the 200 years, it's been our highest honor supporting your freedoms and your way of life. To celebrate, Remington is giving away 200 guns. For a chance to win, tell us your story at 200sweepstakes.remington.com.
Want to customize the look of your firearm and give it ultimate durability? Well, don't paint it, Cerakote it. Cerakote is a spray-on ceramic polymer coating that uses state-of-the-art technology to achieve superior abrasion resistance and corrosion protection. Field-proven and trusted by manufacturers and gun owners like you, Cerakote is the industry's unmatched performance leader. In lab testing and real-world applications, Cerakote outperforms the competition every time. See for yourself and find a local certified applicator near you at Cerakote.com. Choose the best. Choose Cerakote and finish strong.
If it sounds a little bit rowdy around here, that's because it's a little bit rowdy around here. Visiting with Jim Wilson, of course, noted longtime gun writer, but also been, well, a sheriff. You've been in police work for 30 years or more. We're in the middle of a hunting camp here. We got hunters all around the place, and they're watching TV and watching football, and we're up here doing radio because we get to talk about guns.
That's right.
And that's the thing we like to do. In fact, if we're not doing radio, we're still talking about guns.
That's right. You're exactly right. We're the privileged.
We are all of that. All right, we got several folks here who have called in. We're going to take some questions. Line 3, Barry is out of Anchorage, Alaska. Hey, Barry, you're on Gun Talk.
Hi, John. I got a question about reloading 300 Blackout.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you've noticed or heard anything about the Blackout working better with Spire versus Spitzer bullets. I've noticed a lot of, it seems like when I buy the loaded ammo, predominantly it's Spitzer-type or Spire-type bullets, but generally it's been hard to come by in the lighter 30 caliber boxes of reloading bullets.
All right, so you're wanting to load for it. You know what I would do? And Jim and I are both over here shrugging because I'm going Spire, Spitzer. I don't know. Honest, I got to tell you, I don't know. First of all, ignore everything you read on the internet about this. And I'm not being facetious about this. Ignore it all. Ignore all of the websites, the forums, the bulletin boards, all the nonsense stuff out there, because about 98% of it's total BS from, armchair warriors. If you really want to know, contact the people who make bullets. And there are some wonderful people who are absolutely responsive. Call the people at Barnes, right?
Yes.
Call the people at Nosler. Call the people at Sierra. Call the people at Hornady. They will all talk to you on the phone.
Absolutely.
Or shoot them an email or something, right?
Sure. They will, and you get it straight from the horse's mouth that way. They want you to have the successful product
right.
that works.
So if you have a question, say, look, what works best for this? What works best for that? Just go onto their website. They'll have a contact place, and you can either send them a note, or they may even have a phone number. But trust me, they want you to have the right product because they want you to be happy with it. So that's what I would do, Barry. Look, I appreciate the call. Line 2, Joe's with us out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Hello, Joe. You're on Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom. I just want to take a moment to thank your guest for being a cop that refers to himself as a peace officer. That just thrills my soul because it encompasses such a philosophy of the past, and one that I think is so desperately needed today, as opposed to this encroaching police state that we seem to be determined to go down that road to become. And so that's all I want to say is just, thank you for a guy that gets the concept of peace officer.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing that up. And I try to, of course, in Texas, by law, we are peace officers. But I always tried to use that term to remind myself of my duty to the public.
I would jump in here because I try to explain to people who are kind of young and don't understand. Those who think of themselves as law enforcement officers simply enforce the law, as opposed to necessarily sometimes doing what needs to be done or what is right. Because sometimes doing what needs to be done or what is right is not exactly enforcing the law. Is that too far a stretch?
No, I couldn't agree with you more. To me, the law, if you imagine the law book, to me that's like a hammer. I have it if I need it.
Okay.
And what we need to do when we arrive at a scene is resolve it as peacefully as we can. Now, I'll use that hammer if I have to.
If you have to, yeah.
If I just can't get you, then you're going to go to jail. But if we can talk and resolve it,
but you don't roll up ready to whack somebody with the hammer if you can find another way.
Exactly. That's what always worked for me, and that's what I admired in the old-time officers that I studied under.
All right. You knew Skeeter, of course, Skeeter Skelton. I was talking to Bart one time, and I don't know why I said this. I said, Bart, it seems like some of the old, peace officers like your dad, Bill Jordan. I said, they seemed to me that they were gentlemen, and they would try to take care of the situation as best they could. He said, yeah. He says, that's true. He says, but they would kill you.
Well, of course. You don't want to have to do that, but that's that.
That's the hammer.
That's that hammer that you're holding that you use if you have to.
If you have to, yeah.
That's the key, if you have to.
There you go. But it's a great point. I do love the term peace officer because I think it brings a whole different perspective to the job.
Yes.
Very, very good. Let's see. Line 1, Hank's with us out of Winston-Salem. Hey, Hank. What's up?
Hey, Tom. Well,
Yes,
I've got a little bit of an argument as to why or the advantage to voting for Trump.
Okay.
And basically, it boils down to this. If Hillary's elected and she gets in office, I've heard you say it. I know I have that same opinion. She's going to start making all sorts of executive orders and pushing judges and everything. And as we've seen with the FBI, we've seen with all the hearings and all that's happening, Congress is going to do nothing to stop her.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to have free reign to do whatever she wants, and that's very bad for all of us. Even those people who don't believe it, trust me, it's bad for them.
Well, Hank, there's another
Trump
thing
put in there.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, if Trump's elected and gets in there, if he so much as sneezes or tries anything, Congress is going to go crazy and fight tooth and nail to stop him. So the worst case scenario under Trump being elected is nothing will happen. Congress will be busy stopping him. He'll be busy trying to do things, and we can go about our business and hopefully prosper and flourish and open businesses and do everything. So logically, the safe way to go is to vote for Trump.
Interesting way to put it. Thank you for the call. That's interesting. One of the things I wanted to point out here, just talk with Jim. He'll be back in just a minute. He had to take a little run. But there are people who are saying, I don't need to vote for Trump because my state is going to go Trump, is going to go red anyway, so it really doesn't matter, electoral college, blah, blah, blah. Stop. Do not think that way. Even if your state is hopelessly Democrat for the president or hopelessly Republican, there are, as they call them, down ballot votes that need to be made for Senate, for Congress, for other positions. Those are vitally important positions, and you need to be there to vote. And you may say, well, the Trump's going to get my state, or Hillary's going to get my state. Yeah, okay, fine, good. But you still have to go vote because you've got congressional elections, you've got Senate elections, you've got other elections going on. And I used to say just vote for the best person regardless of party. I have modified that to the point to saying that's really dumb. I know it sounds great, doesn't it? Yeah, vote for the best party. No. In this case, a vote for any Democrat in Congress is a vote to put Charles Schumer in charge. A vote for any Democrat in the Senate is a vote to put Nancy Pelosi in charge. A vote for, or the other way around, but you know what I'm talking about. But if you vote for a Democrat in Congress, the simple fact is you are voting to put the Democrat Party in the crazy anti-gun banning group in, and that's why you have to get to the polls and you have to vote on those down ballot elections. Regardless of whether Trump or Clinton is going to win your state, we need your vote in there to make this happen. Hey, don't go far. Sheriff Jim Wilson's going to be with us when we come back. I know we got some questions for him. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Be right back.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Oh, we having some fun today. Sheriff Jim Wilson just joined me again. He's, of course, noted gun writer. Formerly with Guns and Ammo Shooting Times? Both. And then now with the NRA publications and their online stuff.
Correct.
So you're cranking them out.
Well, it beats having a real job.
There you go. I like that. Exactly right. All right, we've got people who are calling in. I got questions for you. Jerry is in Rudy, Arkansas. He's on line 4. Jerry, you have Sheriff Wilson at your command. Go for it.
Yes, sir. Sheriff Wilson. All right. Okay, I've been swapping out parts. I had a MIM part break on my 1911, and okay. I've been slowly replacing stuff with Wilson Combat. And if I decide to get rid of all the Series 70 stuff in it, what would be the ramifications if I had to use it, legal-wise?
Jerry, that's a great question. That comes up a lot. First of all, if you have to use it, the real question is going to be, were you reasonably in fear of your life, and was your response a reasonable and lawful response? That's going to be the main focus. Now, I would not personally do modifications on a gun because I know my limitations. I would rather take it to someone like Bill Wilson, a very qualified company, and have them switch the parts out, make sure, because that gun has got to be as close to 100% reliable as you can possibly make it. So I would have Bill Wilson do the work for me, but I frankly see no problem if you use it in a lawful manner and you're forced to defend your life and it's reasonable. I don't think you're going to have any problem.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate the call. Good call, by the way. Line 3, Jack's with us out of Pendleton, South Carolina. Jack, you have Jim Wilson.
Yes, Tom, good speaking with you. And Sheriff Wilson, I'd like you to update us, if you would please, on your band, and especially if you could sing a couple stanzas of my favorite song that Tom used to play all the time called The Pistol.
We got to get that thing queued up again, too. Absolutely. For those who don't know, Sheriff Jim Wilson not only is law enforcement and a gun writer, but an accomplished guitar player and singer with number 3 CD about to come out?
Just about to come out. It'll be out probably in about another month, I guess.
We're not talking country. We're talking Western.
Well, yeah, Western. This actually, the third one will be a little more country than the other two.
All right. Excellent.
And
but, yeah, you have a song in there called The Pistol.
I have it, and, I'd love to do a couple of stanzas of that, but I haven't practiced it in years. So what you'll have to do, partner, is just keep staying tuned to Tom's show, and he'll play it for you.
We'll play it. And they can they still get the CDs?
They can still get the CDs. $17 a piece. Box 1134, Alpine, Texas, 79831.
Okay, do it one more time.
P.O. Box 1134, Alpine, Texas, 79831.
There you go. How much are they each?
$17 each.
So send a man send him $35. So throw in another $1. Round it off. There you go. And you'll be able to hear Jim Wilson singing. And let me tell you, there was some good singing going on down here last night. And you and a couple other guys, it was fun.
It really was. It's, guns, girls, and guitars. It's just the sign of a misspent youth, Tom.
I'm not having any problem with that.
No,
this is working for me.
And in your case, a happily married man, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's right. Well, I was a drummer, so what can you do?
Oh, well.
I got to hang around with musicians anyway.
That's right.
There you go. Richard's in Green Bay, Wisconsin on 2. Richard, what are you doing with your scope, man?
Well, I've got 2 rifles that have quick disconnect mounts on their scopes.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue I'm having with both of them, that when I remount them, I have to take the scopes off for some reason. They're not on 0 anymore. One of them is 1022, and the other one's an AR.
Okay, well,
I tighten them down as much as I can and make sure there's no mechanical play, and yet they seem to not return to 0 when I put them back.
Okay, well, that would be because they're not supposed to. Neither of those mounts are return to 0 mounts. They are just mounts that you can take off quickly. There are mounts that supposedly, at least kind of sort of, are quick disconnect. Loopholes had some. There's been some, I think Tally had some.
Yes, they did.
And those are basically made so that you can put your scope back on, and it's going to be pretty darn close. But a Picatinny rail on an AR, no, absolutely not. And the Ruger 1022, not really a return to 0. Yeah, you can take the scope off, but as you have discovered, Richard, when you put it back on, you need to sight your rifle in again.
Okay. In some cases, it's better not to remove it at all then.
Right. I mean, basically, you might get lucky. It might be right there, but
sure.
you really need to check your 0 again and anticipate that you're going to have to sight in again because it's just not that precise. A Picatinny rail is not precise enough to be a return to 0. Is that fair?
It is, frankly, and I don't trust mechanical things, and so even if I had one that
you are kind of curmudgeonly, aren't you?
I am. If I had one that they said was guaranteed to return to 0, I'd still check.
You wouldn't believe it anyway, would you?
Yeah, I would.
That's why you have a second gun,
especially if it was on a fighting rifle or a hunting rifle where I want to make a humane kill. I'd check that 0.
Tell you what, hold that thought. When we come back, let's talk about a fighting rifle. People are going to go, "What are you talking about?" I kind of think I know what you're talking about. We'll talk about that in just a second. We're talking with Sheriff Jim Wilson. If you'd like to join us, got a question or a comment, 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
If you're a hardcore duck hunter, Mossberg has a gun for you. The new Pro Series shotguns were designed and built to be the most reliable, most durable semi-automatic duck guns anywhere. Rain, ice, snow, it doesn't matter. When the weather gets tough, these new Mossberg shotguns will keep the shot flying and the ducks falling. This season, don't leave anything to chance. Head to your blind with one of the new Pro Series shotguns from Mossberg. Great performance at a great price. Learn more at mossberg.com.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
If you're looking for a safe and trusted way to sell your firearms, look no further than Dury's Gun Shop. I trusted them to sell my dad's collection. They built their business for over 50 years on honesty and customer service. Dury's Guns will buy any size collection or estate, none too big or too small. Selling your firearms to Dury's Guns is easy. Go with the pros. I trust Dury's Guns. DurysGuns.com.
The Ruger LCRX is a variation of the LCR that features an external hammer, allowing it to be fired in single-action mode. The LCRX can also be fired in double-action mode. It features a monolithic frame made from aerospace-grade 7000 series aluminum, a patented Ruger friction-reducing cam that results in a smooth, non-stacking trigger pull, and a patent-pending polymer fire control housing that significantly reduces weight and helps reduce recoil. The Ruger LCRX Revolver, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Fans of Slip 2000 EWL gun lubricant will want to try EWL 30 this summer. The thicker EWL 30 sits up, migrates less, stays wetter longer, and will not dry out. Perfect for long-term storage. It also holds up better in hotter conditions while still providing the excellent high round count performance you have come to expect from the original EWL. Slip 2000. We're all about gun care. Learn more at slip2000.com.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at galleryofguns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. Galleryofguns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
Hi, I'm talking with my friend Sheriff Jim Wilson from West by God, Texas.
Thank you, sir.
Actually, up in the Highlands, if you will.
Yes.
People don't even know there are highlands in Texas, but there are.
We have mountains in Texas. We sure do.
Yeah, you're at what, like 4,800 feet where you live?
Town's at 48, and the peaks around go to 6,000 and 7,000 feet.
That's pretty darn impressive.
It is.
For a flat state.
Yeah. Southernmost tip of the Rockies.
Son of a gun. All right. Question I get a lot. Okay, I've taken my concealed carry class. I'm good to go. Well, you're taking your concealed carry class, and you are legally good to go. And I know I sound like a broken record, and people are so tired of hearing me say it. You've got to get more training. You've got to get more training. And then somebody will call in and say, Tom, you just nagged me enough. I finally went to Gun Sight, or I finally went to SIG Academy, or I finally went to someplace. Oh, my God, I had no idea, right?
Exactly. And, you know, as much as I hate to agree with you in public.
This is true. That's true.
You're exactly right. Getting your concealed carry license is like graduating from kindergarten. Your education's ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to be an ongoing education. The concealed carry class is to familiarize you with when you can use deadly force and the law of your state, and when and where you can carry your firearm.
Okay.
If you have a shooting portion, some states don't even require that.
Right.
It's to determine if you're just anywhere near safe enough to issue the license. But truly, you need to go on with your education. I recommend people, book periodically a variety of training in schools. Maybe go to Gun Sight this time, go to SIG Academy, next year. Go take a class with Tiger McKee or Grant Cunningham or Dave Spalding. Yeah,
and there are a lot of good trainers now.
Absolutely,
a lot of good trainers.
Absolutely.
I mean, 20 years ago we had like 3 schools. It was about it.
Yeah,
it's a whole different world now, and they always have that epiphany. They go and they come back and they tell you and they tell me, I had no idea.
Exactly. That is
had
exactly
no
right.
idea.
Yeah.
There
are 3 things you need to learn. One, of course, you need to learn marksmanship.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to hit the target, but you need to learn gun handling. How to manage your gun, get it loaded, clear whatever malfunctions are relative to your gun.
How to run the gun.
How to run the gun. But the third one is the most difficult or the most
probably overlooked too.
Yeah, it's learning to fight with that gun.
Gunfighting.
Gunfighting
is the operative word. Is fight.
Yes.
In there.
Yes. And as much as most folks don't want to admit it, the only thing they really know about gunfighting is what they've seen on television or in the movies.
Yeah.
So for goodness sakes, take a class with some gunfighters, like they have at Gunsight, like they have at Thunder Ranch, like they have at SIG Academy and these other folks.
Right. Yeah.
Research it, be informed, take some different classes, but it needs to be ongoing. Keep in mind how serious the topic and the subject is.
That's it. Basically, you're going to carry a gun. Do you want to be competent?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, forget the legal liabilities here. It's, do you want to be safe? Do you want to be competent? Do you want to be able to help yourself and your family and your children and your loved ones and people around you and not shoot the wrong person?
Yes.
I mean, it's all those kinds of things. Tell you what.
I don't have a right to expect you to be Wild Bill Hickok or an Annie Oakley.
Okay.
But I do have the right to expect you to be safe.
As a member of the public, you have that
and
right.
Not endanger me unnecessarily.
Yeah. Good point. Let me run to this call here. Line 3, Brandy is with us out of Carson City, Nevada. Brandy, you're on Gun Talk.
Brandy, my name's Brandon. It doesn't matter.
Brandon.
I think,
I'm sorry, Brandon.
You're talking to me.
Yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't really matter that much. Quick question about question number 1 on the Nevada ballot. Are you familiar with question 1 on the Nevada ballot?
Probably. Remind me.
Background checks for gun shows and private sales.
Got it. I understand it. What's your question?
I hear, they like to swing it as a good thing for background checks to close the gun show loophole, and then supposedly make it a felon for private party transactions. And I was wondering your take on it. Do you think I should vote up or down on it?
Well, here's my take, is that the gun show loophole is a myth. It does not exist. All the laws outside of a gun show are exactly the same as the laws inside of a gun show. There's no difference. There's no special dispensation issued for gun shows. If it's legal to do it outside, it's legal to do it inside. Guns that are sold from a gun dealer, there has to be the federal background check at a gun show and out of a gun show. Private sales where it's not required, it's the same in a gun show as outside. Here's what you need to know. That's a really seriously bad referendum. Number 1 is a very bad move. It is being put forth by Michael Bloomberg, noted gun banner. It is funded by him. The crux of it is this. If it passes, it will be like in Oregon and Washington, where if you loan a gun to a friend for the weekend, you must get an FBI background check done. When that friend gives you back the gun at the end of the weekend, you have to do another federal background check. If you don't, you are committing a felony for loaning a gun to a friend to go hunt pheasants, for heaven's sakes. Now, who's going to do the background check? Are the gun stores going to do that for you? What if they refuse? How much are they going to charge you? It's just nuts. This is pure and simple gun control mania from the mind of that twisted, sick mind of Michael Bloomberg. Oh, yeah, who Hillary Clinton says she will make our new Secretary of State. If that doesn't scare you to the polls, I don't know what will. 866-TALK-GUN. We'll be right back. All right, back with you. Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk, and we've been doing the whole show today from the folks at Scattergun Lodge at their place in South Dakota. It's a fabulous place. Check it out. If you're looking for a place to go hunting, great pheasant hunting here. They really know how to take care of you. It'd be a great place to introduce a youngster or a family member to hunting. They do it right. It's comfortable without being ostentatious. It is upscale without being opulent. I couldn't recommend it more highly. My first time here, and I am really seriously impressed. By my calculation, we are just slightly more than 2 weeks out on this election. I made the point earlier, and I would like to just touch on it again, because I know there are people who are thinking, I'm in a red state, I'm in a blue state, my vote doesn't matter. Well, your vote may actually not make a difference on the presidential side. But your vote may make a difference on a congressional race. And control of Congress. Let me repeat that again. Control of Congress is what we're talking about here. That's the deal. Control of Congress. Who appoints committee chairman? Who gets to decide what things are voted on? Who gets to decide that? That's really what it amounts to. Yeah, and Jim makes the point. Plus, it's your civic duty to vote because, you know what? There are people who have died in rice paddies and on side of hills and in mud pits and Tarawa and Okinawa so that you can vote. Jim, I'm just saying, it's not just important. It's your duty as an American.
Absolutely. It's as much our responsibility as paying taxes and anything else we do.
We're 2.5 weeks out. I think I'm seeing some momentum. We got this call. People are saying that, look, people are really motivated to get out the vote for Trump. Look, we're grown-ups here. Mm-hmm. Neither of us would say this is the guy I would pick above all others, right?
Well, exactly. And you hear people say, well, I'm tired of picking the lesser of two evils. We've always picked the lesser of two evils because Jesus, the Lone Ranger, and Roy Rogers have never run for office.
That's right. We're always putting up with somebody who's not quite what we'd like.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where we are with the deal.
Yeah. So just put on your big boy pants and do the best job you can. Think about the Constitution, the Second Amendment,
the Supreme Court, what's best for this country, the tradition of this country. And if you're just absolutely fed up with Washington, D.C., as a lot of us are, well, I don't know of anybody who is more willing to shake it up than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now, it may scare you, but he's going to shake it up.
And they're scared of him, too.
Boy,
buddy.
They are. And the media is scared of him. And right there, that's enough to recommend him.
Yes.
Because they are absolutely afraid of him. He is going to break a lot of rice bowls.
Absolutely.
Where they've been basically running that whole show for themselves, and the Republicans and Democrats are all basically the same thing with a very thin line maybe between them.
Yeah.
And they just got their own little party going. And
sure.
I think we all understand that. So, there it is. Jim, I want to thank you again. It is always a pleasure. It's more fun doing it when we can see each other face to face.
Absolutely, Tom. Thanks for inviting me. I've enjoyed it.
Fun stuff, Sheriff Jim Wilson. And, you can read his work, you can hear his music. I tell you what, we'll start playing the pistol again on the show because that's a good song.
Thank you.
You have a great voice and you pick a pretty good guitar too, my friend.
Well, thanks.
All right, everybody else, you know what you got to do now. You basically got to start talking this up. You got to make the commitment. You got to not just be willing to go, but you got to get enthusiastic. Take pride and say, I'm going to do this. I'm happy about this. I'm good with this. And that's where I came to in the last few weeks, said, okay, this is what we got, and this is going to be our best chance to stop her because she is a disaster. In the meantime, do what you got to do. Watch your six, get some training, carry that gun, take care of your family.